this. Trains filled with Olympic athletes were stopped after coordinated arson attacks in France. France's rail network has been paralyzed by a series of coordinated arson attacks today, affecting nearly 1 million people who were traveling to the Olympic Games. Flames engulfed the train tracks at several strategic points across the country this morning, just hours before the opening of the Olympic ceremony was due to kick off on the river side there in Paris. Unbelievable. Even 2 German show jumpers set to take part in the opening ceremony missed the event because their train could not get down the tracks. There was arson. There was no longer a chance of making it on time. Officials condemned the attacks as the criminal actions, and prosecutors in Paris opened a national investigation saying the crimes would carry sentences of 15 to 20 years in prison. It was just unbelievable. Eurostar, stopped in Paris, is also affected by the attacks on the rail network. The national, it was an absolute disaster, a nightmare for 1 million people trying to get to the opening ceremony. I mean, they still had good crowds, but it would have been tremendously greater had this not happened. Plus the safety. If these trains had run up on these tracks and they were on fire in 4 different locations in the country of France trying to get to Paris, 4 different rails, and that shut down all of this commuting, which created a logistic nightmare and a security breach unprecedented. And then it rained. The ceremony was awful. I mean, it was really poorly done. NBC tried every way in the world to talk about how great it was, but the fans were booing as there was too many lapses, as the athletes were coming not into a stadium, but were coming down the river on boats. But there was too many pauses in between to let Lady Gaga sing and let someone else dance over here, and all these different things were going on. It was more made for television than it was for the spectators, who were also standing in downpour rain. It literally poured. Paris was paralyzed in the pouring rain, and even Emmanuel Macron got so wet that halfway through it, he left the ceremony. It was just unbelievable. And then the freak show. I mean, there was so many freaky things. I mean, the fashion show was a freak show, and some of the weird costumes, and it was really kind of weird. Now, it would have been awesome. They had the iconic Eiffel Tower. They had the Louvre. They had, some of this iconic things they could have incorporated, and they tried to incorporate into the entire ceremony, but the ceremony itself was spread out over a city, and so unless you were in certain parts of the city, you've seen some things, but you couldn't see everything. And then the lighting of the torch, the cauldron, was not a cauldron. It was a hot air balloon, and then there was fake smoke, and it was really, I don't even know what to say. It was, it was just, there was all kinds of weird symbols. Some of these symbols were mockery. Some of this stuff was freaky. There was that one guy, that bearded guy in drag, he seemed to get more airtime almost than anybody. And then there was all kinds of other weird things going on. But there was some culture they were trying to bring out. I understand, but at the same time, I just don't know. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a rave review. And they spent $1.5 billion on this. What? I mean, are you serious? If you're an average citizen of France who's struggling to get your medicines and your health care, you're wondering what in the world, who is running your nation? It was really weird. But anyway, more importantly than all the weirdness, I can forget about all the weirdness. More importantly, terrorist, arsonist, setting the tracks strategically on fire in different locations, shutting down the train traffic for over 1 million people. And that's just to get the opening ceremony underway. There's 39 different sporting events throughout the country of France. How in the world are they going to be able to maintain and to keep the security well enough to protect the athletes, the fans, the people who are traveling in from different countries all over the world?